Here are instructions about doing homework assignments. And again, this applies whether you do the homework assignment in your journal or on separate paper. First thing is you write homework and the due date, not the date that you did the homework, but the date that it's due, at the top of your paper. You then write the entire assignment, what the assigned problems were, and then you restate each problem. Okay? And again, you can paraphrase problems that have lots of words. The key is that you should be able to look at that problem and without checking with the book, remember what was asked of you. Then show your work underneath. There are going to be times when you don't understand how to do an assigned problem, and here's what I'd like you to do when that happens. First of all, write down the instructions for the original problem and what the specific problem was. Now in this case, the instructions preceded a group of problems, and the instructions were solve each equation for y, find the value of y for each value of x. The specific problem that you didn't understand was this one. This is exactly what was written in the textbook. This is the minimum that you should do when you don't understand how to do a problem. The next thing that I want you to do is write down a question that you could ask in class that would help you understand the problem. So a possible question is, what does solve for y mean? Or what is the meaning of the semicolon in that problem? If it's a word problem that you don't understand, I'd like you to copy the instructions if there are any and restate the problem. And here's an example of a problem that I've restated. The full problem was that you want to rent a hall in order to have a dance, and the charge for the rental was $1,500 for the first 3 hours, and then $125 for each hour thereafter. The total you had to spend was $2,125, and it wanted to know what the maximum number of hours were. That was the problem. Now, this problem appeared in a section on which there were inequality problems. And this student didn't understand how to write an inequality. So a good question might have been, I can solve this equation, but how do I express this as an inequality? I'd like to remind you that your question should reflect some understanding of the problem. You need to reference some aspect of the problem in your question so I know that you actually read it and I know that you've spent time trying to understand what the problem was. These are not questions. I don't get it, or I can't do it, or just writing a question mark. Those are not acceptable responses when you don't understand how to do a problem. I also want to reassure you that there will be no penalty on your homework assignment if you write down the problem and write down a question that you can ask in class.